This is Thomas Paul's week number 8. Today I would like to tackle a question that I'm asked again and again, and not only I'm asked this question. The World Evangelical Alliance speaks about 600 million Christians belonging to it. If we go in details, of course, you have to see what we actually say. We say that WA is made up out of national alliances that are made up out of churches, and those churches have approximately 600 million members. Now, some people say if they look in official statistics that this is not the number of evangelicals, that the number of evangelicals is lower, and in the moment in the official statistics the number of evangelicals is even going down. And I would like to explain it because there's a very easy explanation to it. In the status of world Christianity that is put out from Boston, from the Institute of Global Christianity regularly, they have 3 boxes of Christians beside the official confessions. So they count the Catholics and the Orthodox and the Anglicans, etc. They have all them, but they look at some mega movements that cross the boundaries, and they call it evangelicals, which is, so to speak, the historic evangelicals. Then they have the box of Pentecostals, charismatics, and they have a rather new box, the so-called independents, which includes churches that have no direct connection to historic confessions, which could be a mega church in the US that just works for its own and doesn't belong to a denomination, or large parts of Christianity in China, or many of the so-called African instituted churches, which some of them are very large. Yeah? So, whom do we represent? Let me start with the evangelicals. No, we do not represent all evangelicals. We represent those evangelicals who want the unity of evangelicals and beyond. This is what we started in 1846, to go for unity. Of course, there are groups out there that are called evangelicals for whatever reason, mainly because they have a central position of the Bible. They believe in a personal relationship between the believer and Jesus, but they are called evangelicals for whatever reasons, but do not want to cooperate with other evangelicals, either because they believe that they alone have the truth and others are not Christian, or often for even very simple reasons because they just do not see any need. We don't represent them. We represent, let's say in the US, not the evangelicals. We represent the National Association of Evangelicals that is made up out of about 40 denominations. And so when we count our 600 million, we count them. Now, the largest member body of the National Association of Evangelicals is the Assemblies of God. The Assemblies of God are the largest Pentecostal denominations. So they are in the second box, but they belong to us. But belong to us not in the sense they are not under us, we are not a hierarchical structure, but more or less in every country. Churches belonging to the Assemblies of God are vital member churches of the National Evangelical Alliance. This is the connection. So I cannot tell how many of the box Pentecostals belong to the World Evangelical Alliance, but I can tell you it is the larger part. Most evangelical denominations worldwide have an evangelical identity and want to work together with other Pentecostal evangelical churches. Often they do this through us, with other charismatic groups, but also with non-Pentecostal or non-charismatic groups. Yeah? And then we have the independent churches. Many of the independent churches are, through the national alliances, actually members of the Evangelical Alliance movement. It doesn't matter whether they call themselves evangelicals or not. The moment they are in unity with the Evangelical Alliances or with the other churches there, they are part of our movement. Yeah? That said, I still believe that there is an evangelical identity in the very basic thing that what us all unites is the message that Jesus Christ dying for us on the cross is the good news, is the gospel, is the evangel, the evangelion in Greek. And this is what binds us together. But evangelical here does not necessarily mean that a specific person calls himself an evangelical, or that statisticians would put him in the box of an evangelical. Yeah. So it's very easy. We represent probably the majority of evangelical, a large part of the Pentecostals, and a certain percentage of the independents, and they all together form the big family of Evangelical Alliance. This even includes some countries where we have no official national alliance because we cannot have it, mainly because the state does not allow it or for other reasons, but we know who our family is there and they are part of us too. So there's an easy explanation why the number of evangelicals in official statistics and the numbers that WA mentions are not in line. It's two different things we are talking about. Here we are talking about evangelicals in a very narrow sense of a definition. Here we are talking just about all the churches that are part of the big family that calls itself with this historic name World Evangelical Alliance. Thank you very much.